Doing this is just wrong.
Strong reaction this weekend after some 30 refugees are pepper sprayed outside a welcome party in Vancouver. It's not clear if the attack was racially motivated. Police are still looking for a suspect while outrage continues to mount.
This is CBC Alberta News.
Good evening, I'm Alicia Asquith. We begin tonight with growing fears of a backlash against Syrian refugees. This after a group was pepper sprayed last night in Vancouver, leaving a welcome event. It's an attack police are now investigating as a hate crime. Here in our province, those who hold similar gatherings say they aren't letting that assault stop them from continuing their community building efforts. Josh Skurnick has our story.
As this Edmonton Islamic group sets up their dinner for 100 Syrian refugees new to the city, none of the volunteers we spoke to heard what happened in Vancouver Friday night.
No.
With pepper spray?
No.
That a man allegedly assaulted some 30 refugee families as they exited a gathering just like this.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't? Okay,
no,
so
I didn't follow that.
But they tell us it doesn't change anything.
In Canada, how many? 35 million people live. So if one person acts alone, it doesn't represent those 35 million people.
Fahima Khan sponsored her husband's family to come to Edmonton 2 months ago. She says any discrimination they faced was overseas.
Saying, you know what, you guys deserve, why did you guys leave your country? You guys should have been killed there, this and that. But in Canada, they have a good life and they're really proud of it. And
across the province, it's the same message. Disbelief in Calgary as they collect donations that someone could do this to people like Sawar Al-Nouri, who's finally reached safety.
We
are very sad to hear this. This is wrong.
And condemnation.
Attacked in the face. And what is that the kind of Canada we want to be?
Security might have to be looked at.
So that we can have a direct link with them and then we can basically help them in any way or shape or form.
But the largest sentiment in the room is some need to learn just who the newcomers truly are. Josh Skurnick, CBC News, Edmonton.
Now, Canada's immigration minister says these types of incidents don't represent how the majority of Canadians feel about refugees. John McCallum says there's still widespread support for his government's program and the government will meet its next deadline of bringing in 25,000 refugees by the end of February.
Certainly this does not reflect the welcome accorded to the refugees by so many Canadians across the country. It does not reflect the values of our country. And it is my hope that the Vancouver police will soon be able to arrest the perpetrator.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau also made a statement today condemning the attack, saying this act doesn't represent Canadians. Calgary police are investigating a shooting this evening in the southeast community of Pembroke Meadows. Police say the victim called police around 7:30 this evening, but he's not being cooperative. He was hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries. Police are hoping if anyone saw anything in the area of 8th Avenue and 55th Street Southeast, they'll contact them. Meantime, a 43-year-old man from the Sundre area is facing numerous arson-related charges after a fire northwest of that community Thursday night. It happened in the Bearberry area along Highway 584 just before 10 p.m. Emergency crews arrived to find this home totally engulfed in flames. Investigators have determined the man had doused both the house and the 45-year-old woman living inside with gasoline. She managed to escape unharmed before a wood stove ignited the blaze. The two were known to each other. Police arrested the suspect near the scene and have charged him with arson, criminal negligence, assault with a weapon, and unlawful confinement. We also have some dramatic pictures of a fire earlier today in central Alberta. Just after 4 p.m., fire crews in Rimbey were called to this blaze at a mobile home off a rural area west of the community. They arrived to find the property completely engulfed and were unable to save it. An elderly couple was home at the time of the fire, but were able to get out safely. There's no word yet on a cause. A woman from Savannah, Georgia is looking for a couple believed to be from Alberta who she says saved her parents' lives. Jenna Haith posted the request on several Calgary Facebook pages. She says the couple are angels, that they saved her parents' lives after a tire blew out on their motorcycle in Wyoming last August. Jeff and Jerry Hamilton were on their way to Yellowstone Park when the accident happened. They were both thrown from the bike and suffered serious injuries, including broken bones and lacerated internal organs. Jeff says the Alberta couple went above and beyond to help them.
Thank God they were there, because, I mean, we were lucky that nobody was coming the other direction, and we were so fortunate to have somebody like them behind us. Number one, that weren't tailgating close enough to run us over, and to stop and block traffic and just take care of us when we were incapable of taking care of ourselves.
The Hamiltons say the couple, believed to be in their 50s, also traveled to the hospital to make sure they were okay. They're hoping someone will hear the story and connect them with their so-called angels so they can say thanks. The post has already been shared more than 5,000 times online. An $11 million battle is brewing northwest of Edmonton. At the center of the dispute is a proposed new administration building in Lexington County. The plan has pitted taxpayers against their elected councillors and has now drawn in the Provincial Department of Municipal Affairs. As our Travis McEwen tells us tonight, many argue the building is too expensive and too extravagant.
Chris Yalman pulls a document out of this folder. It's a petition containing close to 2,500 signatures. The residents are against a new $11 million county office to be built near Sangudo. These renderings show the 27,000 square foot building. It would be a workplace for nearly 50 employees. Yalman says the county's plan is too pricey.
I felt that they were grandiose. I felt that they were well beyond what our means were. That I felt that we were looking at something that was a multi-generational debt.
Locally or provincially, everybody will be paying for this. And that's what concerns me the most. We will have no chance to say no.
The county's been looking at plans to build a new building for the past 10 years. Last September, funding was approved. Yalman wants officials to stop the plan for the new building and to find cheaper options.
But 33% of people said, no, we want to be able to have a discussion. So that's what we're asking for. That's what we've asked for all along, is a public discussion on what makes sense.
The petition is being reviewed by the Minister of Municipal Affairs. CBC News contacted Lexington County for comment, but no one was made available. Travis McEwen, CBC News, Edmonton.
In addition to snow, we all know Banff gets a lot of sun. Now, the resort town is budgeting to harness that power in every way it can. The mountain town wants to be the first municipality in Canada to be run on 100% renewable energy. The town hall, library, and public washrooms already have rooftop solar panels, and more than a dozen homes made the switch to solar power last year. The community expects it could take until 2050 before it's completely green powered, but residents hope the changes Banff makes now will be an example for other towns and cities to do the same.
And we should be. We're in a national park. So there's great momentum there, and I think with the new governments, both in Alberta and in Canada, there's going to be a lot more support for renewable energy, and I think we just have to dream big and do it, because we can do it here for sure. Look at the sun.
At least 3 U.S. cities are already powered by 100% renewable energy. We all know hockey can be a rough sport. With Minor Hockey Week now underway in Edmonton, Alberta's Injury Prevention Centre is taking the opportunity to remind parents about the sometimes hidden dangers on the ice for young players. Our Emily Fitzpatrick explains.
Minor Hockey Week is in full swing in Edmonton, with young players from across Alberta taking to the ice to battle it out. But with that competitive spirit, it can be easy to overlook certain injuries. It's something Don Volklander with the University of Alberta's Injury Prevention Centre has studied extensively. One injury in particular stands out for him.
For boys, the under 8 or under 9 crowd, I should say, have the most common injury is concussion at about 20 to 25%. For girls, it's a little bit older. the 18 to 20-year-olds.
Voigtlander says with broken bones, there's no choice but to sit out. But with an injury that's not visible, they often aren't treated properly.
Really important to go through a proper recovery pattern after if a concussion is diagnosed, so that your brain is given the time to recover.
For coaches and fathers like Joshua Davidson, kids starting hockey young is just the Canadian thing to do.
It's very easy for a child to fall in love with the sport. You watch it on TV and you have your idols, and a lot of times that can carry into the spirit and the excitement and the desire to want to play themselves.
Davidson says especially when coaching, teaching kids how to avoid injuries at a younger age will save them from getting hurt in the future.
Our job is to teach these kids to obviously learn the game, but also be smart and learn how and where to put yourself and not put yourself in a spot where a concussion might be possible.
Voigtlander hopes releasing these numbers shines a spotlight on concussion treatment, so the younger generation can grow up playing the game like their heroes. Emily Fitzpatrick, CBC News, Edmonton.
Some of the Calgary Zoo's cutest residents put on quite a show this morning. The annual Penguin Walk has started for another winter. 6 of the zoo's 8 king penguins took part today. Our Andrew Brown was there.
So here they come. These are our king penguins.
This is our 4th winter bringing the penguins out and getting them to walk around with us. So we're very pleased to bring it up again. We started doing it for the penguins really. In the wild they can walk up to 30 kilometers a day just to get to open water and go into a fishing trip. So we realized that they do enjoy the exercise, they love being out, so we thought why don't we offer this as part of the enrichment, and we thought the public will love it too, so we decided to combine both. It's going to happen every day at 11, temperature permitting and penguin willing, every day from today until middle of March.
From warm to wet, Canadians